no bell, no bell, no bell, no bell. Or maybe just no. Dyze in your house. Hey yo! What is the word, peeps? Welcome back in. Thank you for turning on Least Coast Radio, and welcome back into another action-packed edition of Dyze in Your House. I am Jay Porks. That on the intro is it's brand new, I believe, Dead Sarah with a song called Un-American. And I don't know if there was a song made more purposefully for me in life. But I gotta know, who's in the house? Dyze in the house. We'll get back to our normal background music things right now. As you know, if you took a listen to the Jay Porks podcast on Monday, you would have seen, you wouldn't have seen anything, it's not a video. You would have heard that I am having some technical difficulties in terms of computers. So my background music, my intro to the podcast is gone. I can't record a new one because the program I use to record that on this computer, it gives me a fuzzy noise. So that's why I went with an intro song as opposed to my normal intro, and then I had to pivot to the 50 Cent, Your Life's on the Line. So guys, there's a lot of big stuff going on this week, and I'm trying not to scream because the way I have the microphone balanced on a textbook from high school from Spanish class, and I'm pretty sure that my neighbor was my Spanish teacher. And although there were times, because they didn't have a microwave, there were times where I'd microwave their popcorn for them, and I would help pick their lock when they forgot their key. That lady decided to fail me. I mean, get at me on Twitter at JPorks and let me know friends of yours, neighbors who have been your teachers, and why they should really pass you. I mean, come on. Give me a 65. What is that? Okay, anyway. So it's a very delicate situation here, much like America is. And I had two choices. I could have went with a lot of little things, or I could have went with the flag. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm not going with the flag. I know, everyone's so happy to hear that. Listen, here's the thing. I feel one way, you feel another way. We live in a world where facts no longer matter. Laws, rules, what things mean, these don't matter anymore. So, like, I can tell you that the flag represents the freedom to take a knee. You're not hearing that. So, what is the point of continuously having the discussion? Well, I just don't understand. I just don't get why. I mean, it drives, like, this is why sports radio's doing it this week because of the NFL, and they're doing it because they talked about it on Monday, And then when they saw the calls coming in, people defending it, not defending it, going after the NFL, standing up for the NFL, either way, it drives, like, ratings. It's a hot button issue. And that's why everyone's talking about it. And I only have a little bit of time. Like, I have a broken computer. I got like 2 hours a day in my house, a window to record a podcast. Like, I can't sit here and talk about the flag when nobody's listening anyway. You know, if you're somebody that thinks they should stand, nobody's changing your mind. No matter what I show you, no matter how many veterans tell you that that's what they fought for, the right to protest, whatever. It's a distraction. The flag is the D. You know those girls in high school? Let me not say those girls. There are also men, too. Gay men, girls, who have loose vaginas or buttholes. I'm just keeping it real here. And they like to take the D from time to time. That's what they like to do. That's what the kids are doing nowadays. The kids, they're taking the D. They like to. But as a society, we can't take the D. And the D is distraction. And that's what this anthem flag thing is. It's one big distraction from a couple of things that are going on. A lot of things that we are going to broach on the J Porks podcast on Monday. On a Memorial Day edition of the J Porks podcast on Monday. Now, you already know, Dyze in Your House, coming to you on Least Coast Radio every Friday via the iTunes podcast app, or you can get it on YouTube. Excuse me, I can't pause, so I had a cough. You can get it on YouTube. Just search J Porks. Do that, you can Google search J Porks, Google search Dyze in Your House, check it out. What this serves as is a prelude, a pre-show, and a post-show to Dyze in Your House. So there's going to be a lot of things we're breaking down in long form on the J Porks podcast, excuse me. Dyze in Your House is the pre-show to the J Porks podcast. Again, I can't cut. Also, I can't, with the program I'm using on this computer to record the podcast, I cannot cut audio. Well, I probably can, but I'm not smart enough to. So I have to just go. There is no cuts. There is no edits. So I'm sorry, and I love you guys. And if you know me, you know you get me no filter. Hashtag no filter. So there's a lot of things happening. There's so much. Listen, we've got Liegate going on, is what it is. We have Trump is claiming that spy was in his campaign. And I told you on the J Porks podcast on Monday that was not the case. I told you that an FBI informant who wants to talk to Carter Page and Sam Clovis and George Papadopoulos, who's pleaded guilty to belonging to the FBI, if there's an FBI informant that needs to talk to those people, they're going to do so. And let me just state again that nothing the FBI did during the election was in any way detrimental to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump's campaign was under investigation. But we only heard about one campaign being under investigation. But just take out everything you heard last week. Forget all of the other payments that Michael Cohen was paid. Forget about Novartis. Forget about Columbus Noah. Forget about AT&T. Just take this into account for a second. The Ukraine paid at least $400,000 to Michael Cohen to get a substantial meeting between its president and Trump. Cohen didn't register as a foreign agent. Another crime. Ukraine was invaded by Russia in 2014, and Russia annexed part of Ukraine called Crimea. Russian-backed separatists are also waging war in a region of eastern Ukraine that borders Russia in what has been described as a stealth invasion of Ukraine by Russia. According to the BBC, it appears that the leak of Manafort's payments from the pro-Russia party in the Ukraine came from the Ukrainian bureau investigating Manafort. When Trump won, Ukraine needed to get in Trump's good graces to help ensure its survival. For that reason, The Ukrainian president wanted a substantial meeting with Trump, not just a photo op, and to form a relationship with Trump. That's what resulted in the payment to Cohen. And what happened after the meeting is the Ukraine gave Trump a gift by killing its investigation into Paul Manafort, making sure the Ukraine would find no more evidence to give the U.S. inquiry into whether the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. So that's from the BBC. More of that will be in the thread count on the Jay Porks podcast. But let's just talk about selling access to the highest office in the land for a second. In case you're wondering, illegal. Not legal. Also, if Michael Cohen is going to talk to foreign agents, he has to register at FARA. There's a program. The Foreign Agents Registration Act or something, I'm pretty sure. It's a new it's a thing that they just started enforcing now. Because people just started really breaking. The global mafia has just really risen now. So, I mean, they have to start enforcing this stuff. And also, could we not have lawyers lobby? Like, you need to be a lobbyist. The mounting corruption in this campaign, in this fascist regime, is uncanny. So I told you, we got the FBI informant, right? He's in the campaign. So the Republicans, they want to know who this informant was. Even though all they did during Benghazi is say that the reason why this is a big deal is because she was so careless with her email service, and that's a threat to national security. That's what I was told about Hillary Clinton. I was told that the reason we care so much about these personal email servers is because it's a threat to national security. You know what else is a threat to national security? Revealing FBI informants' identities. Unmasking. All the Republicans talked about was unmasking. Now they want to know the name of this FBI informant. What world is this? Do you people even know, like, what you were talking about yesterday? Just like earlier yesterday, I had somebody arguing with me about the flag on Facebook, totally unrelated. But after their arguments, and after they think that people should stand up with the flag, they say, and this is the reason why Kaepernick doesn't have a job, and it proves it. But that's not your argument, though. You can't make one argument and then fight for another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't sit here and, just like politicians can't say, yeah, science is cool. I like science, and then be shown science on pot, and then say, no, I don't believe that's science. You can't just pick and choose what you believe. And it goes back to what I said at the beginning. Facts don't matter anymore. And this is why it's very dangerous. And I sound scared because I am scared. I'm frightened for the future. Because you have people who support the fascist regime who think that the Russia investigation is a nothing burger. When there have been indictments and guilty pleas, and there are, like, kill switch indictments. Like, if Mueller gets fired, a bunch of indictments are going out. Dead switch or something. Is that what it's called? Like, Paul Manafort was lobbying in the Ukraine and Russia for years. So when the Ukrainian president came in, he wanted to talk to Trump, and he was like, don't worry, we won't follow this Manafort thing as long as you like us. Because, Ukraine's like, all right, we lost Crimea, but we don't want to lose anything else. And the United States is like, we lost freedom. Are you kidding me? Well, so there's Cohen, there's the FBI informant, there's Cohen gets $400,000 from the Ukraine. So, how is that not Russian collusion? It's literally the Ukraine. You have North Korea. What happened to the... I thought he was getting a Nobel Peace Prize. Thought we were going to have this historic summit with North Korea. Or were we getting played? We were getting played. Because North Korea is using us to get leverage with, China. So they could meet with China. Why? There was no reason. You can't set up a meeting if you don't have a thing called diplomacy. Diplomacy is basically talking. And if you don't have an ambassador to South Korea, you've already lost this race. Because now you have nobody who's going to talk to them. So yeah, sometimes the CIA guy goes over there, who is now the Secretary of State. Sometimes, you know, Foreign Relations Committee goes over. This representative, that representative. Sometimes they come here. We have a delegation. They have a delegation. But there's no ambassador. There's nobody that works in the White House who is dedicated to only solving the nuclear whatever crisis on the Korean Peninsula. There is nobody who's that's their only job. And that's why things like this happen. And that's why you have somebody busting in a room at midnight. Oh, I'll take the meeting. Tell them I'll do it. Maybe contact other countries and let them know you're doing that. Maybe when we sit down with China, Japan, North Korea, South Korea, you know, inclusion. Maybe we do something like that. And, again, no foreign policy expert, but I read statements. There was never any promise of a full denuclearization. There were carefully worded statements that stated that they don't need their test sites anymore because they already have nuclear weapons built. And they're not giving those up. And also, the North Korea summit got canceled, right? Okay, cool. Here's the problem with that, asshole. Trump didn't tell anyone that he was canceling it. North Korea was destroying a nuclear test site in front of foreign journalists, I believe from CNN. Okay. Right after they destroyed this test site in front of foreign journalists, as witnesses, news came down that the summit was canceled, and now we have a bunch of journalists in a country that likes to take hostages, and nobody gave them the heads up. Americans were in danger. He didn't care. The fascist regime didn't care about that. They don't care about anything but themselves and apparently getting rich off the office of the presidency. Have you ever seen anything like this? Like, yo, listen, I mean, I get it. I get it. Bill and Hillary made some money after Bill was president. I get it. Cool. There was not this level of corruption. There was not this level of corruption. And the mainstream media is covering North Korea, and they're covering the flag, and it's all a distraction from what's actually going on. We have more payments going to Michael Cohen. How many countries, what's the over-under on the amount of countries that Michael Cohen received money from to sell access to the presidency? When did that happen? How many times? What's the over-under? Is it 20? I don't know. We got Michael Cohen's business partner, the Taxi King, gets indicted. He's charged guilty. He plead guilty or something. He said he's going to work with federal investigators. He said it's got nothing to do with MC. Okay. Cool, bro. But you're Trump's friend, too. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot. And I understand that the investigation, the Mueller probe, I understand that there's a lot of avenue. And Roger Stone, too. Roger Stone, they got emails with Roger Stone literally asking Julian Assange for the Hillary Clinton emails. Literal emails saying that. So Roger Stone's going. I bet Sam Nunberg flipped on him. That'd be amazing. Wish I could see that deposition tape. All of it is Korea, because listen, North Korea was never, they were never giving up their missiles. So let's not talk about it until we be about it. You know what I'm saying? The Libya model. Didn't that guy end up dead? Are we saying this out loud? I mean, he can hear, you know? Did Mike Pence threaten to kill Kim Jong-un on television on Monday? Is that what happened? I mean, I don't know. I think he did. He's so obsequious about everything. Been waiting to throw obsequious in somewhere. Don't get sidetracked, folks. Do not let your mind I say this a lot. Do not let your mind get sidetracked. Don't get away from the real issues. Things like the flag just try to sow division in this country. This guy tried to make North Korea like Nixon had China. You know? He tried to do that. Failed. So now we have all these more corruption building, and we have a narrative being put place that you don't believe it when they tell you it's coming out. Rudy Giuliani's on TV saying if they got the information from Russia, so what? Well, so what? That's conspiracy against the United States. That's so what? And I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I think that conspiring with foreign governments against the United States in an election to kill democracy. I'm sorry if I think that that's a bigger deal than most people. I'm sorry. Who would have known? Who would have thought that at the end of the day, it would be Jay Porks, Patriot. Dyze in your house.